just think that's the quick answer. That's the answer for everybody because nobody wants to deal with somebody else's pain.
That's right.
You know,
That's right.
so
Yeah. So
you know, it's been a year. You should be over it. You know,
yeah. Or
pick
you
up
got
your.
divorced. How long ago did you get divorced? 2 years ago. What the hell? Why are you not over? Well, because let's not say me, someone has been married for 25 or 30 years. It is going to take a month for every year you were married just to grieve the loss of your marriage. So if you were married for 30 years, it's going to take you 2.5 years just in grieving. And then you're going to have to move through fear of now you're alone, and the fear of will you be loved again, and the fear of how do I rebuild my life, and the fear, and then you'd move into desire. Okay, you know what? I'm actually feeling alive. I actually think I could do it. I want to be loved. I want to feel love. I want to. Now you're getting into your desire map, and everybody goes, just write vision boards. Just go through magazines and rip out everything you think that would be fun for your life. Make a board and look at that every day. And then what starts to happen? It's natural and normal and healthy that you're not actually manifesting your vision board. You're not getting those things yet. It's not happening quite yet. How are you going to get there? Well, guess what the natural normal feeling is? These are things I want, and I'm frustrated that I'm so far removed from what I really want. Karen, don't you ever feel frustrated that you want this life in an RV, that you want to travel around North America, that you want to create this world where you go in and you do these retreats and locations all around, and you drive this amazing RV to it and you do coaching? Aren't you frustrated that you're not doing that?
So frustrated that I almost talk myself out of it sometimes.
But the reason you talk yourself out of it is because you won't let yourself actually dive into the anger that you feel.
Mhm.
And instead you talk yourself out of it and you go back just down into fear. And that's what happened this week. When you start saying, I just started thinking, and what am I doing? Why am I even doing this? That's all fear. So that's why vision boards are great. But if you don't keep pushing, then the other side of the vision board is to fall back down into afraid that this might never happen. Afraid I might not be good at this. Afraid I might not be a good coach. Afraid I might not ever get that RV. Afraid that what if it doesn't happen? Afraid. So you actually have to push into the energy of anger, which doesn't have to be unhealthy. We have been taught that anger is unhealthy. We have been taught that feeling angry is unhealthy. But the reality is, when we can finally start to say things, and maybe it's only this, I hate. I never used the word hate until a few years ago, because I was actually raised to believe hate is an evil word. It's an evil word. You don't ever use the word hate, ever, ever. And what I started to notice is how empowering it was for women when they would tell me something. I'd go, what happened to you? What? And I showed my anger at that injustice. It almost like that you could see them get giddy. They almost felt, the woman would actually you could see almost like a little bit of giddiness. Like I'd say, I hate that happened to you. Oh my God. And I might even swear, that is fucking shit. I can't fucking believe that person did that to you. That's outrageous. I watch a lot of Judge Judy. That's ridiculous. Judge Judy, outrageous. Do you think Judge Judy is raging in her off time? I bet you she is a hoot. I bet you Judge Judy is so much fun and probably quite peaceful and but she just says things like, no, 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 no. When someone's telling her a story that's bullshit. No, 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 no. I watch her sometimes and go like, did she just do that? Because she just calls it as she sees it. But she doesn't live in anger. She doesn't live in rage, but she calls it out as she sees it. And just above Judge Judy is neutrality. But if you've ever watched Judge Judy and someone's lying to her, she says, that's a lie! She yells at them. Ridiculous! And that's how she says it. That's just ridiculous. And that person's face is like, wow, she just called me out. So anger, and let's go to Isabel's notes. She's got some amazing notes. Let me just pull it up. Anger, we also know, for example, it's in the notes, it's just loading. We also know that anger, for example, when 9/11, when the Twin Towers were bombed, here we are, we're in here. When the Twin Towers were bombed, they noticed that people who expressed anger and rage over that, I'll actually pull up the exact notes that Isabel, versus people who stayed afraid. It was tremendous in their outcome years later. Women or people who expressed rage over what happened went on, I'm actually going to pull the notes exactly how she wrote it, but went on to feel a sense of, they didn't feel fear in life. They felt outrage, and they felt like that we've got to get to the bottom of it. This needs to be stopped. Those people went on living, those people went on flying, those people carried on. That anger gave them the tools to carry on into having courage, and where there's a will, there's a way. I will not stop living because of this. I will not stop flying because of this. I will not stop. The people that became terrified, the difference in the way that their lives became years later, by being able to access your anger. By being able to access anger. So what does that mean? All great change occurred because a group of people finally got angry enough to say no more.